When I was growing up, there was a lady and her husband and two children that moved in next door to me. And I would often try to escape and run over to their house. They were from Kentucky, the mountains of Kentucky, Appalachia, and had a very country accent and just good old country people. Well, as a little girl, that began to be a place where I would go and spend the night. And the daughter was a little bit younger than me, and we became friends. And I often would be at their house, and while I was there, her mother began to teach me how to crochet. She taught me how to do needlepoint. Eventually, this led to her teaching me how to make homemade pizza crust, homemade pizza sauce. It's the same recipe I use to this day. And one day, she decided to dress me and her daughter up and do makeup. And we were probably 11 or 12, and it was all in good fun. And I'm not sure if my mother got a little bit jealous or what, but for a bit, I was not allowed to go over there as much, and it became limited. And then eventually, I got older and I got a babysitting job, and of course, got my license. And I was busy with high school and meeting new friends in the high school. And um, I look back at different moments in my life when I did things that were wrong or I got in trouble. The next door neighbor, Phyllis, she would often give me very good counsel. And she was a Christian who had stopped going to church because of the strictness of how she was raised, where you could only wear dresses, keep your hair long, never cut it, no makeup, no jewelry. And her mother was pretty critical and judgmental of her for wearing pants and lipstick and different things. But my main point in jumping on here to tell you all this is later on, in my early 40s, the Father placed Phyllis on my heart, and I had not spoken to her in years. I moved away when I was 17, 18, got married at a very young age, started having babies at a very young age, and by the time I moved back from North Carolina, I really did not make time for her. And although my parents still lived next door, and I would still, of course, visit my parents and bring my children, I very rarely went to visit her or even drop in to say hello. And I'm not really sure if it was just because I was that immature. Um, and that's something I wanted to discuss. I did not realize that this lady was mentoring me and at times correcting me and at times telling me that I was smart and beautiful or pretty when I wasn't hearing positive things that I needed to hear. And she was such a beautiful mentor. And so anyway, the Father put her on my heart when I was in my 40s and kept telling me to reach out to her. I kept hearing this in my spirit. And so finally I sent her a card and told her that she had been on my heart and that I thought about her often and how thankful I was to have her in my life at a young age and what she meant to me. And she wrote back and told me that she had just been diagnosed with cancer. And we began to write back and forth and talk on the phone. And she got a bad case of chemo and ended up dying shortly after that. But in the moment when she was spending all this time with me and trying to teach me how to be a lady and correcting me when she saw me getting involved and hanging out with teenagers in the neighborhood who were going down a bad road, I took it for granted. And sometimes it kind of stung a little bit because deep down in my heart, I knew she was right. And I knew that she was only correcting me because she loved me. And, we have this fast-paced world where people don't send cards very often. A lot of times we're too busy to make a phone call. And sometimes mentors do not have to be older than us. Sometimes mentors can arrive younger. Maybe they had more life experience. Maybe they had more wisdom and knowledge in one area. But all in all, usually in these types of relationships, more mature adult relationships, we both learn from one another. And I think that when the Bible talks about the older women teaching the younger women, we've got to somehow get back to that, along with not just all our learning, but our doing. And anytime we have an opportunity to sow in someone's life, and something as simple as how to make homemade pizza dough. So for some of you, it's challah bread. Maybe it's, some women, younger women, no one has taught them how to dress properly. And so I was just reminiscing how we need to be more aware of the people the Father brings in our lives and not take them for granted. And especially if there's someone that He's placed in your life that you feel is a confidant, a dear friend, and maybe you've gotten busy and you haven't reached out to them in a long time. Let's try to do better at this, because even if you've been mentoring someone and perhaps they don't even realize that's what you're doing, that's what was happening to me. This woman was mentoring me. I had a difficult relationship with my mother, and I'm not here to bash my mother. My mother is a wonderful woman, but we did not get along very well. And my next door neighbor became like a mother figure to me. And I think I would have been closer to her if my mother would have had something in common with her or a friendship with her, but they were just complete opposites in a lot of ways. So what I'm saying is, many times too, we discard people because other people that we look up to, other people that we're seeking approval from, have said something that tarnished them or commented about different characteristics or flaws that they've seen in this person. And so, we may be thinking, oh, I really like them, and I was really hoping to to have a relationship or build a friendship with them. But now I'm hearing from this person I really look up to that maybe this person isn't so good for me. Well, trust your gut and seek the Father. He made all of us different, and we're not going to be attracted or make endearing friends with everyone we meet. If that were the case, well, what a wonderful world it would be, I guess. But basically, we don't have enough time to invest in the people that mean the most to us because time is precious. And who we are spending our time with, we need to calculate, because if we're spending our time, on the phone all day or doing a lot of things with different people and it's not really good or nourishing or even enjoyable, sometimes it's just, women talk too much or they begin to gossip or, the relationship is just one where there's not a lot of good fruit. And so take time for those that he sends across your path, whether it's just a dear friend, someone you can relate to, someone who's there for you when you really need to pour your heart out. And if the Father has sent someone to mentor you, pray and ask him who that is, because they might already be doing it. I did not get a chance to properly tell my next door neighbor what she meant to me due to the grace of the Father and me being able to hear his voice and me sending those cards. Yes, I was able to get closure at the end, but my children missed out on getting to know her. She was right next door. I easily could have brought them to her house. She would have been a wonderful babysitter when I needed one. She probably would have helped me not go down a lot of really bad roads. So I just wanted to jump on here and to remind you that you're mentoring someone, whether you know it or not. Someone's watching you, someone's listening to you, someone's learning from you. And also, who are you learning from? Who's mentoring you? Who's sharpening you? Iron sharpens iron. Who are you investing in? And why are you investing in them? And why are you spending your time with them? And so I pray this has made you meditate and think a little bit about friendships and mentors. And I hope you all have a blessed day. Okay, bye-bye.